future Worldcon bidding panel. So make sure you get the right panel. But before we begin,
I just wanted to say that normally at this panel, we have the upcoming Worldcon, which would be LACon next year, come up and do a presentation. But in the interest of keeping this on time, since it's a shorter panel, Joyce Lloyd, who is chairing the convention, stand up, Joyce, so they know who to ask questions. Has graciously ceded her time and will be making a presentation at the site selection panel and answering questions at the business meeting. Now, if you have questions, you may also approach the LACon table, but we will move on with the bids so you can get information on what to vote on next. Thank you, Joyce.
okay, so as of an hour before this panels begin, we have representatives from 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Okay, and so we will just go and guess what? And then they'll present their presentations all in a row, and then afterwards will be questions to any of them. Okay, because I just want to make sure that they all get their fair shot of presenting what they want to do, and they know their time limits on this too. Okay, so without further ado, 2027.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Brisbane, and I am not Canadian, but proud to be on a team of Canadians to bring the Worldcon back to Montreal.
Beat the mic.
To bring the Worldcon back to Montreal. So, because I have spent way too much of my life in the corporate world, I'm going to force you to watch PowerPoint. I will do a little bit here to talk about. So here with me, will be also helping present is Sabrina. Wait, Sabrina. Who is from as the International Development Manager for the Palais des Congrès de Montreal, who is supporting us. We could not ask for better support from the city. Montreal is not only a great city, but they really want us there and helping. And my co-chair, Bruce Farr, who I would introduce, but you all probably know him already. So what about Montreal? Of course, it's Canada, right? Second biggest country in the world, at least in physical size. 42 million friendly people and one jerk, but we won't invite him at this. You know, it's stable, and of course, 70% of the world's supply of maple syrup. So so why vote for Montreal? We'll talk a bit today about why Montreal is a great place, but for the convention, I mean, what is Canadian content? Canada's had a huge contribution to science fiction, to fantasy, to art. We want to feature all of that. Did you know that Superman was first drawn in Canada? A couple of other things that we'll be talking about. So authors, actors, movie shoots, ISS, all sorts of stuff. And of course, you know, our community. So see your friends, make new friends. You know, come to Montreal. It's a fun place, and it's a place where you'll leave knowing people you didn't know before and having a great time. And that's of course fun, right? Or what to be, as we'll say in French. Lots of activities that we think you'll enjoy, and we want to create a Worldcon that will be fun, and as we like to say in Canada, not the 51st anything. Since we are in a Worldcon, we'll take one moment to talk about our leadership. So Bruce and I are the co-chairs of the bid. Angela Jones, who's a local to Seattle, has been serving as our vice chair. We have many people on our bid committee. I won't read through the names. If you're not literate, you probably won't be attending a Worldcon anyway. And our sponsoring organization is a group called CanSMOF, which is based in Montreal, and also sponsored the 2009 Worldcon Anticipation. So I will say we've been asked this, are we Anticipation 2? No, we're at Montreal 2027 Worldcon. We decided not to do a cute name for this one. So with that being said, let us talk about Montreal. Sabrina?
Hello everyone, I am so pleased to come here and to support the bid for Worldcon 2027. It's been a long time coming to have you back again. Number one, Montreal has been number one for the past 8 years for hosting international conventions. And as you can see on the slide, I can't see, you can see here, that we have been #1 for international convention and congress. It means nothing for you, but it's the ICA ranking, as well as the UIA ranking for 8 years in a row. So Montreal has proved that we have the expertise in hosting world-class events and conventions and all the events.
So how can we get there?
So what is Montreal? Montreal is the French door to North America, and it is only 2 hours away driving from the US border. We have a population of 4.3 million people, and as Darren had said, we are the second largest in Canada. We like to refer to ourselves as the North American amenities with a chic European vibe, or that je ne sais quoi. Accessibility, we are 20 minutes away from the Trudeau Airport to the Palais des Congrès and the city center. It's one of the reasons why it is very easy to get to most of the major cities around the world, with over 150 direct flights and 600 daily flights from routes all around the continent. One of the modes of transportation from the airport is our 747 shuttle, and it's about $8 US to come. We have Lyfts, we have Uber, and we also have a light rail that's coming in 2027. Hopefully it's going to be ready by the time you come for Worldcon as well. As far as international flights, we have over 150 flights coming from Asia, from Africa, and we have also from US. They're very affordable flights from New York, Seattle, Boston, as you can see. We did about an average of about $407 to anywhere up to Los Angeles, $445 US. As well as, for those who are traveling by car, we are only, as we were saying, about 2 hours away. Driving from Boston to Chicago, you can do 5 to 13 hours with the Northeast Corridor. You can just go to the other part to save time. We know accessibility is very, very important for you all. So we have partnered together with a Quebec company called Querul. It's a Quebec organization dedicated to promoting tourism and culture for people with physical disabilities. We explore Montreal without limits, so accessible stays, sites, and rides for exploring travelers. The Palais des Congrès, we have ramps, we have escalators, elevators. Anything that is important for you is important for us too. So we make sure that that is important and accessible for your travelers and for your attendees. As far as multiculturalism is concerned, we are a hub for multiculturalism, for inclusivity, and I have here, we are home to 120 cultural communities with 140 languages, with both English and French. I speak more than 4 languages. So we are the most trilingual city in Canada. We have a spirit of openness, respect. Our city welcomes the warmth and the ideal destination for Worldcon. As some of you have experienced it in 2009, you will experience it again. Moving.
And let's get to the food.
Which is important because, of course, Montreal's rich multiculturalism is reflected in its incredible culinary scene, with 5,300 restaurants, 80 types of cuisines, from Michelin-starred restaurants, affordable local gems. Our city offers flavors to satisfy every palate and pocketbook. And we want you to try our famous bagels, our poutine, and our smoked meat.
Which will be on feature at the Montreal parties in room 2828 of the Sheraton tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday night.
But it won't be the same thing, because what it is
It's
for
not
the
real
bagels.
Montreal bagels, because it's the wrong water.
Yes, exactly.
But as close as you're going to get to Seattle. If you want the real Montreal bagel, vote for Montreal and join us in 27.
So during your time in Montreal, why not come a little bit early, stay a little bit later, and come and enjoy the cobblestone streets in Montreal, the old Montreal, the Notre Dame Basilica, where there's an immersive light show. It's called Aura, and there's also within walking distance of the Petit de Congrès. There's the metro you can take to go to the planetarium, and also it's called Space for Life. It's the garden, botanical garden. Our city is safe, it's secure, it's very compact, and perfect for exploring.
Okay, this is a shot of some of the more colorful parts of the Palais. There's stained glass everywhere. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a work of art by itself. It's not just a meeting place. In fact, they've added several new features like play areas and stuff like that. So it's very good for the people who have just a wide range of interests. It's a place that's an artwork in itself. This is a few idea of not only the number of restaurants, the different districts which are around. My favorite is right here, which is Old Montreal. It dates back hundreds of years. There's a lot of old, like, Fortress Montreal's types of features. What's really cool about it is Old Montreal is like 10 feet away. It starts just a few feet away from the convention center and the major hotels. A little bit more about the Palais. It's got, as they say, 509,000 square feet of space. We just potentially added another 50,000 square feet of exhibit space. We were there in 2009. We used 50,000 square feet. If we have the size convention we expect we'll have, we'll probably use 100,000 square feet. It gives you an idea of where the level 2 facilities are, which is dealer's room, art show. You see where it is in pink, that's 50,000 square feet. The area right beside it, we would be using as well, which adds up to 100,000 square feet. These are the meeting spaces. There are 47 meeting rooms. They have up to 3,800 people can be seated for Hugo's and Masquerade and other major events. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, and these are the big, as they say, seminar rooms, which are about 2 rooms of 1,000 people each in theater style. We'll probably use for like second track and such, or a second level of major events. And these are some of the fun new areas that they added, the public spaces, which are really cool to climb around, just sit around and chat and all that. They're very accessible. Accommodations, hotels and such. Where you'll see several concentric circles there. That's not a Avon warning sign. The area in purple is the convention center. 5-minute walk is that circle around it. We have blocked 1,300 and a bit rooms in that 5-minute circle. And the major hotels we're using are right towards the bottom of that purple, of the Palais. Those add up to 500 of the rooms. They're immediately right beside the convention center, about 1 minute away. Just walk across the street.
Excuse me,
Careful.
Bruce, we're like at time. We need to allow people
There
to
you
ask
go, guys.
questions.
Since Montreal is in the process of voting, we'll have questions just for Montreal only, and then we'll get to the rest.
Thank you very much. That was very informative. I have 2 questions that are specific to the Montreal bid. The first is, when will the membership be open for people to purchase memberships?
Well, first we have to win the bid. First we have to win. But if at 10 a.m. on Saturday, it is announced that Montreal is the winner for 2027, then we will be selling as soon as possible after that at our table on the second floor. No later than noon, we'll be ready to sell.
Thank you. The second specific question is, on file 770, you were asked about Consmoth, and the person asking the question had not seen the answer as to who is on the board. and what role the board members will play in the Montreal Worldcon.
Okay, the members of CANSMOF, which is the equivalent of a 501c3 organization in Canada, are listed on the website. You can go in there and see the list of people. They have input into the convention, but beyond appointing who the chairs are, that's about all the influence they have. It's once it's passed a committee of the of CANSMOF, which is Darren and myself, that's it.
Okay, and at this point, for the questions for all Worldcon bidders, Randy and I are going to split them up because there are several of them. For all Worldcon bidders, what concrete steps have you taken to include people from marginalized communities in your bid? What concrete steps are you taking to include them on con staff?
From my perspective, first of all, I hate to put it so bluntly, I do not look at people whether they're handicapped, able, whatever. I look at them as people. If they're capable of doing the job, I ask them to do the job. Disability, etc., doesn't matter to me. We deliberately do want to keep a fairly balanced group for all areas, capabilities, age, nationality, etc. We're an inclusive organization, inclusive group, and that is our goal. Concrete steps, we keep our ears open, and we ask people questions, recommendations, and recommendations come up to us from the entire committee. And obviously, if people want to work on the convention, we want to hear from them.
Or even if you don't want to work on the convention, if you have some recommendations about how we can do things better, we'd really like to hear. So please share your thoughts.
The next question is, what's the LGBTQ welcoming status of your city?
Well, we are a very open city, as I was mentioning. We are very inclusive. Actually, last week we had our one of the largest LGBTQ gay pride. We celebrate openness and community pride on a daily basis. So for that, Canada on its own is a very open country. And we were one of the first cities to welcome the LGBTQ plus community.
Okay, thank you. And as Patty said, those two questions are going to all bids as well as several more here that I'm going to ask you. So if you're sitting there waiting to do your presentation, you know you're going to get asked these. So the next one is someone wanting to know, is there any pledge to have free food in the daytime con suite? Apparently at night.
At Montreal, we will have hospitality suites with food at all times.
Including Montreal smoked meat, but poutine is optional.
Poutine is optional, smoked meat is not actually required, but it's pretty close. But if you're vegan or whatnot, we'll have great things for you, including delicious vegan bagels made locally and fresh.
All right, this one's a kind of a technical detail question, but I think a lot of people are interested. So if you're out there, you may need to know or post this question. They're asking, how wide are the seats in your rooms and the halls? They say this year they're currently 20.5 inches, which is closer to average people's width, and wider than some recent Worldcons for seating in the.
We'll have to get back to you on that.
No, I can find out about that and get back to you.
Weirdly enough, I've not measured the seats in the ballet.
But
We
you
will
have
do so.
tried.
I don't expect anybody to have that off the cuff.
I'm pretty fat and I'm comfortable in the seats there, but we will make sure to post information on our website, not necessarily this
We
week,
will get
but
back.
soon.
There's also multiple people have commented that they like this year's virtual business meeting. And how open is Montreal to continuing that?
We are open to learning lessons on everything from previous Worldcons. We have deliberately made no decisions on business meetings. We want to see, we're waiting for the feedback from the people who participated in Seattle, and frankly want to see how things go in LA. Because there's no really need to make these decisions now, but we certainly will make them with plenty of time for people to attend business meetings, whether they're virtual or in person or held in orbit or whatever we end up choosing to do.
And again, fair warning to everyone else, people are interested in that answer to that question, which will be forthcoming. Somebody's asking just the general, why should I go to Worldcon X? Does your venues offer? I think you all ably answered all that. The upcoming bids are going to be making their sales pitch. But people want to hear that. And that's all the general. So,
All set?
thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now for the rest of it, the presentations will be just done consecutively, and then afterwards, the questions for all or a particular.
We can catch all at the end for things.
Yeah,
that-
because
some
we'll make
people
sure
ask
that-
some general questions that the bid wouldn't necessarily answer pretty well.
So, 2027, 2028.
Kigali references, Brisbane, we can go reverse alphabet. Hi, Brisbane. Now playing the role of Brisbane, click done.
Okay, well, I can fortunately.
Microphone.
And give me, let me sit down first. No. Okay, since it appears that I will not be inflicting PowerPoint on y'all, I'm Cliff Dunn. I am with the Brisbane in 2028 bid committee. We are bidding for the summer of 2028, specifically July 27th to July 31st, 2028. I will note that our convention comes with a free solar eclipse the week before. That will be down in Sydney, but that is not that much of a trip. It's either an all-day train ride, a nice drive, or a short flight. Our location is in the middle of the city. We're about 5 minutes from the quote-unquote city center / central business district. Notably, we are a one-seat ride from the airport. We have a number of hotels immediately adjacent, including the Bridges, which will be our main hotel. The train station is, if not physically attached, immediately adjacent to the convention center. So if you decide that the downtown hotels are a little bit too expensive, you'll have plenty of options, and the trains do run reasonably frequently, and several of the lines do overlap, providing high-frequency service. Our bid share currently is Random Jones. We have several other people, including specifically, just to preempt the question on Indigenous folks, we have Dr. Yoriki Green, who is I'm going to sincerely apologize if I mispronounce this. Okay, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because I will butcher it, and I sincerely apologize. She is an Australian Aboriginal who has been involved in fandom for several years. She has coordinated National Aboriginal and Islander Day Observance Committee festivals in Southern and Western Australia, and she will be heading up an Indigenous track and ensuring that there is plenty of representation for Australian Aboriginals. We don't have a 501c3 per se because Australian tax law is different, but we have McGuffins Limited Australia, which is an Australian non-for-profit. It's the local equivalent. Travel-wise, okay, obviously Australia is somewhat expensive and quite a long trip to get to. As much as we might try, we can't alter the globe. But note that these prices are in Australian dollars. It's, London is $1,100 to $1,900. The United States is $1,100 to $1,500, and in U.S. terms to Australian terms, knock that down by about a third right now for current exchange rates, just for your sake. Canada's a little bit more expensive. These are all for direct flights. Europe is going to have to connect somewhere because, as of right now, the longest flight that they've gotten out of Australia is Perth to London, Project Sunrise with Qantas, and that's as far as the planes go. BA has a one-stop through Singapore, and historically there have been other options such as Hong Kong and so forth, but you're going to have to connect to a tag flight. There are numerous airlines flying into Brisbane, 77,000 seats per week. And if Brisbane is not really, if that's not convenient for whatever reason, Sydney has a number of other cities flying into it. But coming from the U.S., there are flights from LA, I believe San Francisco, Dallas, Fort Worth, and then Vancouver in Canada is also a connection option. Let's see. Travel. ride shares, as I mentioned before, there's the train, which is $26 Australian. Again, that's about $18 US from the airport to the city center. Central Business District, there is high frequency bus service throughout there. I believe the convention center is one stop from the Central Business District and a number of other hotels. So again, if you don't end up at our hotel, you're not going to be that far away time-wise. Venue. We are using the Bridges South Bank Brisbane as our hotel, and the Brisbane Convention and Exhibition Center, which is a wonderful venue. It has several dozen rooms, it has plenty of space, and obviously, as is often the case, that some of those rooms can be combined, divided, etc. The Bridges has 305 rooms. There are over 8,000 rooms within 2 kilometers of the venue, so that is more in walking distance, and Brisbane is generally pretty flat, unlike Seattle. The Bridges, though, is actually connected, which I know is relevant for folks who are observing Shabbos and so forth, so you will still be within the same building as it's relevant. We don't have room rates yet. Breakfast is not typically included in the record, but oftentimes you can get it for a decent rate included on top of it. Internet is, I think, generally offered in most hotels. Foreign visas. Currently, Australia has an ETA system, which a number of countries, there's a list of about 30 countries that have access to the ETA system that's generally approved immediately, although obviously we can't guarantee in everybody's individual cases. Australia does recognize dual citizenship if that is relevant. If you're in a non-visa exemption country, it's a $200 at Australian dollars, to be clear, fee, and those we would advise applying 2 or 3 months out just in case the embassy gets backed up. And if you get the ETA, that is in fact good for 1 year, unlimited within that year. So if you really want to rack up those frequent flyer miles, you can come back. We do have parking. We have a letter of intent with our facility. We have plenty of restaurants and so forth. As far as parties, that's complicated. Australia has strict rules regarding alcohol, as is often the case in many jurisdictions. Any attendees will have to provide an ID, passport, driver license, etc., and we will have to deal with that. There, however, are a number of bars and pubs close to it, and there is a significant culture around that. As to, yes, this is in winter in Australia. You want to be in Brisbane in winter. You want to be in Queensland in winter. It's like going to, it's like Florida. If you go there in the summer, it's going to kill you. But Brisbane has average temperatures around 70 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. Winter is the sunny season, so you're less likely to deal with weather. Winter is not hurricane season down there, or cyclone season, so you're less likely to get disrupted by that, although global warming, who knows. We do not have our rates set yet because we're still working things out with the convention center. As to staff, yes, we are still staffing up. We are being advised by the co-chairs of the previous AussieCon from 2010. We have Australian fans did take a hit during the pandemic, as everybody else's did. We, however, are reaching out also to American and European fans to staff as well, and some things will just need to be worked out over the next year or so.
Okay, Cliff, that's time.
All right.
I'm going to take a few questions.
Well, anyway, let's go to 2029. Okay.
I'll take mine.
Okay, we only have one question specifically to Brisbane, and it's extremely tailored to Brisbane.
Oh dear.
Any plans to coordinate eclipse tours for con?
If we do not head that up, somebody will be working, that's going to happen because it's a week next to it. Most of us are space/astronomy nerds in some respect. We know a lot of people don't want to go. There will undoubtedly be package tours to somewhere that is in the center of totality.
And on the general questions, what's the LGBTQ welcoming status of your city?
Australia is generally fairly welcoming. I will note that the populist campaign at the last election went down in historic flames. So, you know, Australia is pretty on that one, and then Brisbane on top of that is one of the more progressive cities in Australia. So globally speaking, it's a very friendly environment.
Thank you. What concrete steps have you taken to include people from marginalized communities in your bid?
I think I took care of that in my, directly. We have an Australian Aboriginal who is heading up a track for that. They're on the bid committee. So we've already worked to integrate that. Further steps will happen as things go along.
Consuite, you're gonna have hospitality food available at Consuite during the day?
I think so, but I cannot make a commitment right now just because I haven't seen the convention center contract personally.
And you won't know this, but like the others, take note, people want to know the widths of the seats.
Yes, and I do not know that.
It's a serious question. I
Oh,
wanna know
no,
that.
I understand. I'm a big guy as well, so I get it.
Okay. And then, likewise with everyone else, virtual business meetings pretty popular, so people are gonna wanna know decisions coming on the horizon. How open you be to such things?
I suspect we're reasonably open to it. What we can promise is that we will give more notice than was given this year, so that people, you know, if it's being held on other days, people aren't having to move other things around. We will let you know if we are seated next year, if we win next year, if we're seated in Los Angeles, we will let you know by the end of Montreal what we're going to do.
Yep. This is another one that you're gonna maybe need to post on the website and update, but you've been asked how many hostels, if any, are within 30 minutes of the site by public transport.
I don't know exactly, but we will. Say again?
A lot.
A lot.
Probably about 4 or 5.
There is a significant backpacking culture in Australia. There, in fact, Australia has specialized working holiday visas for people from around the world, and they need places to stay. So there are definitely hostels in Brisbane.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hello. My name is Adeline. I'm actually the Brisbane bid, but our friends at Kigali couldn't make it, and that is in Rwanda. So I'm just going to chat a little bit about their bid. And if you've got any questions, I cannot answer them. I've just been thrown into it. But we will take more notice that we can put in either Discord or answer specifically afterwards. So I thought I'd slide through this. I don't know how much anybody knows about Rwanda generally. I always thought of it as a place of genocide, but that was more than 30 years ago, and since then it is now a thriving African country. It's actually the first in African visa openness. It is first in terms of cleanest city in Africa. It is first in the Africa Smart City rankings, third in the Africa ICCA rankings, the meetings, conventions and so. It has zero tolerance for corruption, zero tolerance to discrimination, and excellent, reliable infrastructure. So the bid team are working with Rwanda Air to offer 15% off all air tickets into Kigali. And I can talk a little bit about the routes into. The dates are August the 23rd to the 27th, 2028. There are 3 ways to get from Kigali Airport to Kigali via bus, taxi or car. I don't know what currency this is in, but a bus is 20 minutes and $1. The taxi is about 15 minutes and $12 to $15. And the drive from Kigali Airport is about 15 minutes and $2 to $3. The bid team are working with the Radisson Blue Hotel and the Kigali Convention Centre. The hotel is adjacent to the Convention Centre. Beautiful place, I wish you could see some slides. There are 5 restaurants, 291 accommodations on site. 20 meeting spaces and 2,600 in the auditorium with a total delegate capacity of 5,000. So, I'm just going to skip past the price of things. Let's just say by American standards, it's very cheap. Our main venues. The bid committee is quite extensive. It's Nikhil Kabunga was supposed to be here today and unfortunately could not make it. He's one of about 8 people who are on the bid committee, and he's got backers from Robert J. Sawyer, Dr. Andrew Wallachia, Dorothy Tompkins, Steve Tompkins, and the Rwanda Convention Bureau, Rwanda Development Board, and Rwanda Air as well. Experience in general. The team is made up of fiction funds and creators with experience in events management and convention running for more than 15 years. Human rights activists, tourism and hospitality experts, an auditor, legal professionals, publishers, printers, and IT professionals. They are also assisted by Rwanda Convention Bureau. And since its inception, the RCB has successfully facilitated more than 800 of international events with big preparations like this. Okay, average airfare. Look, I don't know which currency this is in, but I'm going to assume US dollars. London, 527. From Boston, about 1,000. Los Angeles, about 1,000. Tokyo, 1,200. Melbourne, 1,400. Amsterdam, 600. So Brisbane, across Seattle, 884. Most of the connectivity is north-south towards Europe, the Middle East, but there are connections through to Asia as well. Serviced by Rwanda Air, Ethiopian Airlines, Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines, Kenya Airways, KLM, Egyptian Air, and Brussels. Fun places that are easy to reach, some even within walking distance from the main hotel, and parties in the fan bars were arranged in the convention village. So this is putting together a convention village. The law prohibits smoking in indoor public places, workplaces, and public transport, but permits people on the premises to smoke in designated areas. Main tourist attractions, art centres, ecotourism parks, distilleries, bookshops, national parks. Gorillas. Gorillas. And a volcano. Yes, they will have local stuff. The other,
That's good time, and you can answer a few questions.
I can't answer questions, but can I please just say this very, very short
Go.
thing? It is,
I'm asking you a question.
Okay. The vision for the convention is to make the 86th Worldcon accessible to everyone. There hasn't been an African Worldcon in more than 80 years. And their whole vision is to let every story find its place among the stars, let every dream ascend to greatness, and afford Africa the opportunity to host this Worldcon so that African fans can actually attend. Because, as you know, it's very, very difficult to get into some countries, and I'm really touched by their enthusiasm for trying to get it up. Even though I'm from Brisbane. Thank you.
Besides the generic questions, which you're aware of, we've got a couple of specific ones.
I can't answer that. I'm really sorry, but we will put it to the big team and we'll get back to you.
No, it's really hard to get up here and answer questions. Randy and I have both been through this, but we have 2 specific questions for you.
She can't say that.
The first is, do you have hostels within 30 minutes by public transportation?
I'm afraid as I'm not a local, I cannot answer that. So I will take that on notice.
The second question is a little more political. How can a con in Texas, Rwanda, or any other non-free political entity ensure the safety of all attendees?
What? But I will take that to the bid team on notice.
can tell you Texas also has that concern and their eye on it, so. You're done, thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Up to 2029.
It is working, it's just not coming up on Project yet.
There we go, green light.
We're just waiting for the projector to warn us about that, and then we should see our slides.
Look at the slide, that's where all the notes
I need to check my notes to make sure I know who I am. No, I am Marguerite Smith. I am one of the co-lead chairs for Dublin in 2029.
I am Brian Nisbet, I'm the other co-chair.
We have scribbled slides. I will say that one of the things that you will see as the slide comes up, I was thinking of I don't know, the similarity, excellent, there we are. The similarity between Kigali's theme of putting the stories into space and finding space for themselves, and our own tagline of our crossroads lit by stories and storms, where we come together and exchange ideas and exchange fandoms. You can see our dates, the 2nd to the 6th of August of 2029. That is for those of you in Europe, early August bank holiday. For those of you in the US, I'm afraid it's just a Monday. But it should be a good weekend.
Be a great one.
Fantastic Monday.
So the venues that we have agreements with at this point in time, the Convention Centre of Dublin, which is those of you who were with us in 2019, was our main venue at that time. It's a purpose-built, multi-story convention centre. With many, many program rooms, with a ground floor with roughly 3,000 square meters, so 30,000 square foot of, sorry.
Anyway, well,
Yeah.
Matt
It's got a big exhibition hall, not as big as here, but we come from a much smaller country. The secondary venue that we're using is the National College of Ireland, which is a third level education institution, so lecture theatres, classrooms, again, vertical building, but designed for the movement of students coming in and out of lecture theatres. So very much designed for that kind of movement, designed for panels and lectures and things like that. It's 400 meters, so slightly more than that in yards, door to door on the flat route between the two venues. So again, those of us who were with us in 2019, it's half the distance between the two venues that it was in 2019. So very much trying to create a campus feel there. The area has continued to be developed. There's now more hotels there. There are more supermarkets, convenience stores in the area. The tram is still very much there, and it's very easily connected to by walking and public transport to both the city centre and the airport.
Now, many of the basic questions are in the printed questionnaire that we have submitted, so we will not be going through all of that detail for you right now. We can provide it for you on the press later. You hear that applause, thank you. What we wanted to share was the excitement that we're building. We had our first volunteers meeting in May, and we had, I think, 60 people sign up, 50 people turn up, and by the time this picture was taken, there were still 40 people who had spent their day with us, brainstorming and being excited about bringing Worldcon back to Dublin, and what we can do better, and what we can do differently.
reflect the changes of the last 10 years as well?
I mean, it was, people who had come to Worldcons before, who'd been parts of committees before, people who, this was their first ever committee meeting for any kind of event. So real groundswell of excitement among a lot of young Irish con runners and also international people of so many levels of experience and age and wisdom. No, all of them were wise, what am I saying? No different levels of wisdom, all very high. But it was a fantastic day, and we're really now kind of ramping up that team and getting more volunteers on board, which is fantastic.
And to address one of the questions that I know has come up, we have been doing proactive outreach to places like Powdy Point, which is the Centre for the Indigenous Peoples of Ireland. We are one of the few European countries that recognise an Indigenous population. In our case, it is known as the Trana community, and that is their main resource centre, so we're communing with them. Several of them were involved in 2019 as well, so we're building on that relationship. We also have several members of the team with various neurodivergence, capacities, physical disabilities, all kinds of thought processes, trying to make sure that we are being as representative, not just of Ireland, but of fandom as we do.
That picture, by the way, was taken at the convention centre. I can report I have no clear idea how wide the seats are, but I find them comfortable.
So a quick rundown of the numbers. This is already out of date. I submitted this an hour ago, but I will keep you updated. So we did have about 50 attendees at our volunteers meeting. We are currently at about 20 members of our bid committee and growing. We have 227 supporters, 16 of which have joined since the start of Seattle. And the current capacity of our venues is around a total of 7,390 people. Now, that is in theory, but that is also why we are continuing to ask for more space, particularly from the NCI.
Yeah, yes, and again, members of the bid committee are in the FAQ document. As I've just been reminded, that is back out of date, and there are more names that we have to add to that because I am a fallible human being.
And it wouldn't be a pitch without a call to action. So please visit our website, because on there you will find most of our activity. That's where you can pre-support us, and the levels are shown there. You can also sign up to volunteer and to hear about volunteering opportunities. You can sign up for our informational newsletter, where we will not ask you to volunteer, but we will tell you interesting things about Dublin and what's happening with the bid. And brand new as of yesterday, we have new merchandise. So it was too new for Brian or me to actually have any here in Seattle, but it is there for you, and we found all very excited.
And that's time, Marguerite.
That's the end of our presentation.
We have one specific question for Dublin, but the questioner specified they'd like to hear from both of you. What one thing do you think the 2019 convention did really well that you want to do again? And what one thing do you think was not done well that needs improvement?
So, I mean, I'm going to start with the bad news first. Apparently, some people have told me, I don't believe this myself, but apparently there were some queues in 2019. I mean, I blame the logistics division head, clearly. We had to work with the building. That was the biggest thing from that, the base, and we've already, not only do we know the building better, but we're making some changes to make that flow better, and again, not using the OD is going to be a big part of that. I mean, what do I think we did well? We brought 7,000 people to a convention in Ireland, and I know it seems like a very simple answer, but we did this thing that we never thought we could do, and we've had so much love from European and North American and the rest of the world fandom over that, people going, we want to come back. So that thing and making this massive traveling circus that we all participate on feel Irish for 5 days, I think is just a huge thing.
On my behalf, since Brian has already taken the easy answer of the queuing, space in general, it's just the nature of Dublin. I was saying this to somebody on the table earlier, there is no custom-built appropriate space for 7,000 people, realistically, in one building in Dublin. There are 5,000 to 6,000, as the CCD is, or there's 10,000 plus not programming stuff. So that's exactly what we're doing with trying to go through the NCI, trying to make sure that we are using the space that we have in an efficient and imaginative way, and just building on all of the things that we have learned and what other cons have done in the 10 years since then. So, in terms of things that have gone well, I will actually say one of the things that I really enjoyed, for all that there was a ribbon that just said leak, because the Irish have a reputation for their storytelling being perhaps on the sadder, darker side. It was a way to bring some of those voices together, to bring some of those Indigenous tales and stories and experiences to people even within Ireland who had not heard them previously. And so being able to build on that and build the exchanges of information and to build, I don't want to call it a development program, but one of the things that we have seen over the years is a reliance on many of the same wise, experienced people. And then if something happens, who steps in? So we're building in that type of development and exchange and growth as well.
And we have one general question. What's the LGBTQ welcoming status of your city?
And very, I think, is the answer to that question. I mean, look, it has all the pros and cons of any European capital, and we can't say that everything is perfect. But Ireland itself has changed immeasurably in my lifetime, to a point where, you know, pro-pride, pro-trans rights, being human rights, LGBTQI, welcoming, huge, you know, pride is both a protest and a party in the city. And yeah, it's almost occasionally difficult not to be emotional about how much it's changed in the last 40-something years, but I think we can say with some confidence that, like other progressive European countries, it's there and it is open and welcoming.
Yeah, I think I'll add that I believe this year is the 10th anniversary of self-identification for trans people in Ireland, and everyone now just finds that absolutely normal. So there has been growth and there has been change. As Brian says, it's not perfect. There are absolutely right-wing forces, as there are around the world, but in my experience, it tends to be very welcoming and a lot of the messages.
Sky and off.
All right, Brian covered certifying the seat comfort level, and I'll go with him on that. Just a reminder, people are concerned with daytime hospitality, and although it's used down the pike, as Aaron said, there's more to learn, but there is strong interest in will there be virtual business meetings, just something to think about.
So just on the daytime hospitality, just to note that European Worldcons and European venues do not have the ability to have cons suite in the way that North American ones do, so it's probably not going to be an option, albeit lots of water all over the building. We can definitely say that. They've massively upgraded their water bubbler system. From the point of view of virtual business meeting, I think we were talking about this. The virtual business meeting gave us the opportunity to attend the business meeting for the first time in, well, when I was Muslim's co-DH, I managed to do it in Chicago, but that was because it was my job. But we managed to get to it, and we're huge fans. I think is as clear an answer as we can give at this point in time, but you know, yay, go virtual business meeting.
Thank you very much. Edmonton.
Hi everyone, looking forward to talking about Edmonton in a second, but a huge thanks to Darren for letting us piggyback on his tech. He's getting our slides up quickly. My name is Amanda Walkeruk, and I'm chair on the Edmonton Bid Committee, and another co-chair is taking my picture right now. Places with Worldcon for 10 years, and I can't tell you what a pleasure and joy it is to be up here talking about bringing this amazing convention to our city. It's an yeah, this is Montreal, also an amazing city. I'm looking forward to visiting in a couple of years. Okay. So Edmonton is a prairie city based on a river that is traditionally named Nisqually. So that is why, if you've been to our table or seen the logo, which might appear, you'll see Cree-syllabics in the top right. We are thinking about these types of representation early on. We're working with First Nations groups to make sure that we're doing things in a way that is respectful and inclusive. And that's sort of where we're starting from in general. The city itself is about 1.4 million. It'll be at 1.5 before 2030. It's growing again. That's the nature of Alberta, which is the province it's in. And I wish I had a map to show you. We've got a lot of direct flights from across North America going right to Edmonton, which is basically straight north of Salt Lake City. We also have excellent connections worldwide with Toronto and Montreal, as you saw earlier, with all the flights coming into Montreal, and Vancouver. So if you didn't want to connect through the US of A, but you're outside North America, there are options for you there. Just saying, some people have asked. Can you go to edmonton2030.org as a website? Shoot, we have a fabulous website, everyone. A little bit of excitement about why Edmonton's a great place for Worldcon. Okay, we've got a very lively culture. There we go, yay, there you can see. That's our prairie city on a river. Nisqually top right, and if you can get to the next. Just counting on my time.
Right.
All right, thank you so much. I mean, we have 5 minutes. Visuals are so important, so huge things. There's your air service map. These are direct flights courtesy of Explore Edmonton, which is a group that is managing the convention center that we've been working with very closely. They've been very supportive. Next slide. They've also provided these lovely pictures, and this is part of a big book that you can find on our website. We have a lot of reasons why we want to have Worldcon in Edmonton. One is the rich sci-fi history of the city. In the 80s, we had a lot of fans that were very active, and they even launched On Spec magazine, which is like a long-running periodical. We're very proud to have it home in Edmonton. And they sponsor things like the Story Slam every once in a while for sci-fi. There's a monthly Story Slam we won't have forever. Edmonton is a festival city, and this con, if we're lucky enough to host it, would come smack in between some really big festivals, including Animathon, which is using the same facility and draws in like 14,000 people a year. So we're good on logistics. Come and talk to Stephanie from Explore Edmonton if you want specifics. I'm not wasting my time on that. This is our website. This group of people, small but mighty, this is what we looked like last year. Now we have a volunteer base that's close to 50 people. Just a heads up on who we've got here. So Olav in the 1970s Battlestar Galactica gears on the far left. I'm a couple steps in with my Glasgow t-shirt, which I'm very proud of. And in the direct middle there's Winston Pye, kind of the tall guy. He's our other co-chair. He's at another convention right now. That's a literary convention in Alberta we really want to sync up with, because Olav and I have to miss it every year to be at Worldcon. So that's something else to do. In front of Winston was Candace Jane Dorsey, who's an award-winning local author that we're very proud that she's involved with the bid, wants to help us make this happen, as is Preeti Mohammed, who's right in front of her. Yes, she's actually nominated for a Hugo Award this year. And they're both incredibly supportive, as is Barb Eller-Smith, who's behind her in a nice hat. She is an editor that's worked at Conspec for at least 10 years, and we're just excited to share that we've got this great group of people that's committed to making a con in Edmonton website, as you saw, has all the bits you'd expect. There's they support us, all that stuff. We will be putting our bid committee members up there in September, so I'm not going to go further than that. Just say watch this space. And the next one, this is a screenshot of the convention center. Now, this is just as you enter. I'm only putting it up here because I think it's kind of awesome that you see the cascading building as you go from level to level. So the river view is amazing no matter where you are. There is a virtual tour that will show you how it looks like on the floor. There's a lot more space than this. So it's like an ice cream. You just see what's up here. Any questions? Oh, I guess you guys can see
Are you done?
do I have more time?
Well, I mean, not the convention time, but the time allotted to you, kind of like 90 seconds.
You've been on 30 business meetings.
Now, obviously, we would love your support, and we have a bid table. We have an online bid party on Saturday, which one of the people who's volunteering, Farrah Mendelson, you may know from other cons. She is running an online bid party on Saturday from 3 to 7, so I'd encourage you to sign in if you're not otherwise busy at this con. We have Friday party.
Friday night, 28, 28.
Friday night, 28. You may know as the Montreal party suite. They don't need a Friday night, so we bought it and said, hey, let's have a party for Edmonton. So that's happening in Sheraton.
The room's full of Canadian flags already.
Although we do have some ketchup chips we're going to bring.
Ooh.
So please ask questions, come and talk to us at the table. We're here the whole con. And thanks for listening.
That's good use of every second of your time. I applaud you for that. We do have a couple of general questions. What is the LGBTQ welcoming status of your city?
It's a very welcoming city. We have a really strong LGBTQ plus community. Edmonton's actually been the site for some historic wins for that community over the years. There's a Supreme Court case that's unfortunately started in Edmonton, but Alberta lawyers took it all the way up to the Supreme Court related to employment rights for people in that community. And we're very proud of that. There's an excellent documentary that will make you cry, that's worth watching. And so that spirit is still in the city, and our pride festivities every year are fabulous. So very proud of my city on that.
And I'll just remind you of the general, everyone's interested in free daytime food, seat width, and will you hold a virtual business meeting?
So let us taking notes on that, and we are going to make sure that is on the list of check marks when we talk to the Edmonton Convention Center.
And I'll
One of your
just-
co-chairs was the timekeeper at the virtual business meeting?
Yep.
Is that correct? One of your co-chairs was the timekeeper at the virtual business meeting?
That is correct. He's standing there laughing, so I'm thinking it's an inside joke.
Yes, he was the timekeeper for those of us in the virtual business meeting. Okay, I've got a couple of just general comments that weren't to any particular bid. But somebody asked, what would be the average budget of a Worldcon, and what do you do with the extra money, or if there's a deficit? This is to you, just, I'll answer. $1 million, $1.3 million, maybe something like that would be an average budget. If there's money left over, somebody raise their hand. In US dollars, yes, sir.
Higher now. Higher now.
$1.5 million?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay, $1.5 million would be a current budget. If there's excess, most every Worldcon participates in pass along funds, which currently is half is kept by the entity running it, and the other half is split equally amongst the next 3 upcoming Worldcons who have agreed to participate in pass along funds. If there's a deficit, none of you are on the hook. It's the organization that ran it that is on the hook. It's been many years, but Baltimore ran a deficit in a number of conventions in future years, helped kick in money so that was all paid off and maintain a good name with hotels and convention centers. There's another question asking, how soon after hosting Worldcon can a site make another bid? There's a 500-mile exclusion rule for voting, so you can't just turn it around immediately there. There's a unwritten rule that nobody's repeated in under 9 years. Don't try it. Some big name places have not been able to pull it off in under 9 years. And you'll notice Dublin wisely chose 10 years. And that's it for just sort of some general Worldcon queries. I want to thank all the bids for presenting. I think we as fans are lucky to have such passionate groups looking to have future sites for us to have a Worldcon. So I give a round of applause to all of them. Appreciate it. We were just going through 2030. That's the